Harvard Business School's research is shaping our impact of understanding AI. And not merely as a technological tool, what we're trying to do here and understand is how industries are being redefined, how organizations are being reshaped, and how to address some of the challenging traditional paradigms of working, leading, and innovating. In our next talk, Professor Tsedal Neeley is going to introduce the digital mindset and really emphasizing the minimum level of change technology, algorithms, and AI understanding is needed to lead and contribute to an AI-driven transformation. Please give her a very warm welcome.
Hi, everyone. Or should I say sabah al-khair? I'm so happy to be with you today and to talk about how AI is inextricably tied with transformation or change and what that can look like. So we've been looking at this for some time, and I will begin where I'm going to end. The idea that change and AI skills are imperative for everyone in an organization. It used to be that top leaders and managers were the ones who were driving change. Today, change and the tech skills are necessary for everyone. So my timer here says 9 minutes and 20 seconds, so I'm going to ignore that completely. What do you say? So Brian, yeah? You agree with that? Oh, I love it, crowdsourcing here. So I have no idea when to end, but I'm just going to get going, Brian. Okay, so here's my agenda. I want to tell you a little bit about me and how I landed on the idea of the digital mindset and talk about what AI does in the end. And generative AI, once it came on the scene, completely changed how people related with AI. People talk about my ChatGPT moment. Did you have a ChatGPT moment when you first discovered it? That was a pivotal moment for many folks. And then I'll talk about some of the challenges that organizations are facing today across the board with AI and bringing change to everyone. So a little bit of background about me. I'm one of those reluctant academics. Unlike my office mate in my doctoral program who used to say things like, when I was 17 years old, I knew I wanted to be a professor. That wasn't me at all. I had no idea how I got there, actually. But I worked for many years looking at the intersection of technology and work and was convinced when I was working for Lucent Technologies, you remember that company? Lucent, with that red, that technology was going to change work as we knew it. Just didn't know how and when. So we've seen remote work, the remote work revolution, and now we're seeing this massive transformation. What I believe is actually probably one of the most transformative periods of our lifetime. And I've been following various aspects of this for a very long time. Now, the digital mindset. The digital mindset was a project we started when we tried to figure out what do we need to know in order to contribute in an AI digital-driven environment. So my co-author and I sought to understand this. We went to many companies, AI companies. As you know, AI has been around for a very long time, since the 1950s. We tried to talk to experts, domain experts. We looked at processes and discovered that if you have a digital mindset, you are able to adapt to any form of technological changes, including AI. So, definition. The digital mindset is a set of attitudes and behaviors that help you see new possibilities using data, technology, algorithms, and AI in order to chart the future. So why a mindset? Because if you change how you think, It changes how you feel, and it changes your behavior. So if you want people to change, you need to make sure it starts right here with their mindset. You should try that with your spouses, by the way. I'm sorry. I digress. So that's the digital mindset. The other thing that we discovered was that you don't need to be a programmer. You don't need to be a data scientist. All you needed was what we coined the 30% rule, which is the minimum level of threshold that you need in understanding change capabilities, in understanding technology, AI, algorithms, in order to contribute to the future. Now, 30%, where does this come from? It actually comes from linguistics. So how many people here are second language users of the English language? Whoa, 92.8%. Exactly, right? Exactly. So in the English language, you know how English is the global language of business, the lingua franca of business. For non-native speakers of the English language, you only need 30% of the English language, or 3,500 words, in order to be fantastic in global business. Native speakers know about 12,000 words. That's where this comes from. Does this make sense to you, the 30% rule? And the 30% rule says, if you know these things, then you can fully contribute and participate. That's the other thing that we discovered. So learning to learn is the superpower of today, because things are changing so fast. And experimenting with tools, understanding how it impacts organizations. And of course, you have to understand technology more broadly as well. So AI. AI gives us speed, scale, and innovation. Now, if you think about Moderna, remember the COVID period? Sounds like yesteryears, but not long ago, 4 years ago. You have a company like Moderna, comes out of nowhere, and is next to Pfizer, with 800 employees versus 100,000 employees, producing the vaccine because of mRNA technology and AI. And if you look at Moderna, their digital strategy and their organization structure are aligned for speed, for scale, and innovation. Beautifully aligned, which is one of the secret sauces of AI. So most companies aren't structured that way. So what does that mean? We need to change in order to create that alignment. Another company that I know quite well, intimately, Rakuten. I sit on the board of Rakuten. And it's an interesting company in that we've been using data science for a long time. The reason I say we is I sit on the board of Rakuten. By the way, recognize this team? It's a good team? Big deal, little deal? Big deal? Really? Yeah, they're not wearing green, you know? It's about the Celtics. Anyway, but yeah, it's about the Celtics. They're the last champions, you know? But Rakuten is the only National Basketball Association jersey sponsor. And it's a company that I've been connected to for about 15 years. Now, we have 1.8 billion users across our services, 30,000 employees. And when AI really came to be strong and important, we launched, the CEO, Hiroshi Mikitani, known as Mickey, launched the 2020 strategy. So what he said to everyone in the organization was that they needed to have marketing productivity, operating productivity, and clients' productivity. 2020, 20% increase in all of these dimensions. And so within a few months, and this is a company that does change really well. In fact, Kareem, where are you? Kareem and I talk about change fitness for organizations. Rakuten is change fit, because they've gone through massive changes and everyone knows how to do change. And so in a short order, they have an ecosystem of 70 companies, 70 services. It seems like a big number, overwhelming when we say 70, but they have consolidations of different things. So for example, fintech involves not only online banking, but also insurance, other types of financial services. That's fintech. It's about 8 of the companies are in the 70. And so because Rakuten is change fit, data science has been around and AI for a long time in the company, we can actually have a clear sense of what people are doing. We have 1 million transactions daily, 100 million Japanese subscribers to one of our services, 100 million out of a population of 127. That's huge. And we can actually personalize to a big portion of that group. So for example, if you have someone who, I don't know, likes to party a lot, we know that because we can see through their behavioral data, transaction data, they're back at that party place again, Thursday, Friday, or whatever day, and we're not gonna sell that person life insurance. You follow where this is going? We may send ads about, I don't know, things that might be relevant. So this is truly understanding folks. But the triple 20 strategy actually very quickly led to some dramatic decreases in marketing costs, 77%, and also a rise in click-through rate. The other thing that we saw is we have a mobile business that's been actually very painful, but now we're EBITDA positive. We're going in the right direction. 50% of e-commerce increase in sales for our mobile users. So if you have a Rakuten phone, you are going to make more purchases because, I don't know, we know what sites you're going to, and suddenly you have these great deals that show up on your email. That's the use of data. The other thing that's powerful is AI semantic search. So you know how, y'all use Amazon here? When you make purchases, what's your, yeah? See a few heads nodding. Okay, so you go on Amazon, say you want to buy clothing, you put it in a search, I'm looking for shoes. What you can do now with AI, and Rakuten is doing it, is to say, I'm going to a music festival, it's going to be slightly rainy, it's a work event, and I need to be smart casual. And next thing you know, you'll get recommendations for full outfits. 6.5% increase in gross merchandise sales. That's the power of AI. So another example I'd like to talk about is the influencers on TikTok. How many people here use TikTok? Okay, not 90-something%, this is much smaller. Their algorithms are scary. They're like so good that they're scary. So TikTok is interesting because they have 3 million influencers on TikTok. It's the #1 downloaded site since 2018, and you can see the numbers here in ad sales. Now, one of our colleagues in the marketing department, Jeremy Yang, does work that I think is just fantastic. He's a marketing algorithmic type of scholar, and he introduced me to this phenomenon that continues to blow my mind. So this person that you see here is known as the lipstick king. He used to work for L'Oreal. Some of you may be familiar with him, and ends up being an influencer in China, and he's on TikTok showing all these lipsticks. And while he's doing that, what you see, the engagement heat map and the product heat map are both algorithms, algorithmic predictions on what is the size of the audience that we have now, and predictions on are we going to be able to convert to sales based on people's participation while he's doing his thing. And his catchphrase apparently is, "Oh my God, sisters, buy this." And all these sisters say, "Yes, okay," and they do, because look at the sales. So I showed this to some L'Oreal executives. They all fainted. That was the end of our session. They were like, laid out. If you look at what others are doing, traditional companies, you can't even imagine. So how does this work? It requires data integration. All the systems, social media, sales, inventory of these lipstick product companies have to be fully aligned, and you need one source of truth, so data. The second thing is consumer behavior. So the people engagement heat map, remember that smoky thing that you saw? Through clicks, who's staying long on the videos. It's actually geometric algorithms that can predict the level of engagement that you have, the mass of people who are engaged. And then the product engagement score, based on historical data and present data, it predicts sales. So now you have these predictions that then you can move to, because you have a unified platform, real-time inventory updates. So that once all these people make these purchases of these lipsticks, they can actually be sent to everyone. Can you imagine if we had a company and had these types of product sales? How do you make sure that these things are sent out? They can do that because of AI. Generative AI. Ooh, enter generative AI. ChatGPT, November 2022. The findings are staggering, and I'm just going to share a little bit of it because there's not a lot of time and a lot of studies have been emerging. So those who write with ChatGPT have 40% higher quality writing output and are faster. How many people here use these systems, generative AI? Amazing, amazing. So this doesn't surprise you, does it? This doesn't surprise you. Another thing that has really been a very big deal is coding. Coding with AI. Programmers are saying they're 55.8% faster. Every time I look at this number, I say, why didn't they round this up to 56%? If you're like me, you're thinking that, right? But they don't. So I say, you know what? Precision. We'll leave that. But the other interesting thing about this work is the job satisfaction of these engineers. Gone right up. 75% higher job satisfaction, better concentration. And many talk about reserving cognitive efforts because all that routine, recurrent work goes away. And importantly, what do programmers like the least about their jobs? Documentation. 50% faster. You can see how that can happen, right? So documentation has gotten much easier as well. And then you have all these bots. Custom bots are becoming, and Kareem talked about that earlier with these conferences, being fed into a bot that we'll all have access to. So custom bots very much on the rise. And I want to share a couple that we released at the Harvard Business School. This first one we call Data Insight Analyst, DIA. It's a chat bot for all of our faculty to be able to analyze about 97 qualitative kind of entries from students. So if you have 97 students and they're putting all of these entries, what did you like, what did you not like, or we say opportunities for improvement, all that. And what do you do with that? Can any one human analyze that, make sense of it? Are tricky because they have, you can get promoted or not if you don't teach well or not. So they're quite private. So we built this bot, deployed it, And faculty can now analyze what students are saying, how's their coursework, to improve. It used to take people, we tried to help our faculty, 5 weeks to 3 months to get this analysis from some of our team members. With these bots, you see how fast it's happening. We're using our own framework, by the way, that we've developed over the last 20 years, and it really helps our faculty to privately understand what they need to do. So how many people here love to do HR reviews, appraisals? Right? An excellent use of it. The other thing that I did in a course that I teach, Leading Transformation with a Digital and AI Mindset for Executives, AMP's the program, we released a bot that I named Sophie AI. So the Greek word Sophia means wisdom, wisdom AI. I kind of like the kind of feminine name too. It's really interesting. By naming Sophie AI, people call it, you know, I did this with Sophie. And Sophie actually has completely bridged the knowing-doing gap in our executive education program. What this means is you can learn something in the morning, and by that evening, you go to Sophie AI and apply it to your own company. And strategies and all sorts of things are getting worked on. Generative AI is interesting because you don't even need to be an engineer to code. You can use language and these various apps in order to do automation, no-code automation, but there's much more. And then there is Sora. Sora is this real? Is this real? Is this real? Was this generated by Sora? Yes, because no man would be running backwards like that. But the interesting thing about this is Tyler Perry, who's a big movie maker in the US, the moment Sora was introduced, February 2024, he stopped plans for an $800 million movie expansion or building that he was creating, a studio, because he said, whoa, with Sora, this is not going to work. And Sora just got released. You see the date? Isn't that incredible? So now we can all have access to video generation by adding some prompts. Really powerful. Marketing is never going to be the same. So when we do this work, one question that always comes up is this system or is AI going to give us a lot of problems or existential threat? Are we at risk? There are 5 questions that you need to answer to determine whether or not you're at risk, okay? The first one is it possible for your core capabilities to be disrupted as a result of this new technology? Second question is, are competitors using it? If competitors are using it and you are not, you can imagine the implications of the efficiencies and all sorts of things that they're achieving. Customer expectations. Customers are expecting it now. And you see how Microsoft embeds it right into Copilot, just pops up. It's all in Zoom, it's everywhere. Customer expectations. And if you don't have it, it's a problem. The number 4 question is our current technology infrastructure distant from this new technology? That's another concern that you may have. And then the big one, our culture, our organization culture. Is it one of inertia, where people refuse to change? So if you've checked, see, they've checked a couple, they're like running, because they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. But if you look at these 5, right, are 2 or 3 of them problematic for you? If it is, you really need to jump into this adoption. And here are the challenges as I go to close. We did roundtables with 100 CEOs, Kareem and I. and for 6 or so months. And roundtables, because it's in small groups, the CEOs would not open up to you in a big group. So we had to do multiple meetings with them and learned about a few things. The biggest worry, almost to a person, that we heard about was this fear of getting disrupted. The other worry that they had was, how do I build AI fluency in my organization? How do I reskill my entire workforce? How do you respond to clients? We don't know where to begin. And how in the world do you transform? And there are oftentimes 10 common reasons why transformation initiatives fail at the rate of 70%. 70% of transformations fail. 70%. That's a huge number. And let me tell you why, and I'll go to wrap. One is leaders and team members lack transformation skills. People do little changes, tweaks to work all the time. I shouldn't call it little. People tweak things all the time, but transformation is altogether different. The second thing is leaders and team members resist change. Insufficient digital and AI expertise. The amount of poaching that's taking place right now is just extraordinary with AI talent because there's just not enough of them. Not engaging the entire organization. AI stumbles at the front lines. It's the people who do the work that implement AI. So if they're not trained in AI or change, it's not going to work. Not securing buy-in from stakeholders. Is AI going to take my job? From stakeholders. I mean, this is happening everywhere. We're learning about many even machine learning engineers who are sabotaging algorithms because they think that they're programming their replacement. And sometimes it is true that some folks will not be able to remain in their positions, but we believe they can transform into other positions. The other thing that's important with stakeholders is not just employees, but clients, partners, customers. It's really the ecosystem that you worry about. Flawed strategy, execution, or both could be a problem. This Satya Nadella quote is always interesting to me. This is when Satya, I don't know if he was in a good mood, bad mood on this day when he said this. When the paradigm shifts, do you have something to contribute? Because there's no God-given right to exist if you don't have anything relevant. And this is kind of gangster, right? Yeah, I don't know what was going on with Satya that day, but I like it. I like it a lot. Misalignment of systems and processes. Remember I talked about Moderna? The opposite would be misalignment. And AI-first companies are organized by data, algorithms, and unified platforms. It's not just departments and tasks. And the biggest drivers of success is when the technology architecture and the org structure are fully aligned. Not dismantling silos. Silos is the enemy of AI because you don't have access to data, no insights, no innovation, no flywheel. Not prioritizing responsible use of AI, privacy, bias, discrimination, you name it. This is another very important thing, the ethical components of it. And then finally, declaring victory or defeat too soon. Radical transformation is actually a multi-year process, and it's never linear. It's an S-curve. I call this the valley of despair. 2-3 years in, you're like, is this ever going to work? Why in the world did we try this? Oh no, I hate myself. Eventually, it starts to work, but you've got to stick to it. And I end where I started. Change and AI skills are critical for everyone in the organization. Thank you all so much.